Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Time is the friend of the wonderful company, the enemy of the mediocre. Predicting rain doesn't count. Building arcs does. In the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield. I don't look to jump over 7-foot bars. I look around for 1-foot bars that I can step over. Wall Street is the only place that people ride to in a Rolls Royce to get advice from those who take the subway. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. The first rule is not to lose. The second rule is not to forget the first rule. It's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you'll drift in that direction. The only way to get love is to be lovable. It's very irritating if you have a lot of money. You'd like to think you could write a check. I'll buy $1 million worth of love. But it doesn't work that way. The more you give love away, the more you get. Basically, when you get to my age, you'll really measure your success in life by how many of the people you want to have love you actually do love you. You only have to do a very few things right in your life, so long as you don't do too many things wrong. The best thing I did was to choose the right heroes. Only buy something that you'd be perfectly happy to hold if the market shut down for 10 years. A public opinion poll is no substitute for thought. When you combine ignorance and leverage, you get some pretty interesting results. Look at market fluctuations as your friend rather than your enemy. Profit from folly rather than participate in it. Your premium brand had better be delivering something special, or it's not going to get the business. You do things when the opportunities come along. I've had periods in my life when I've had a bundle of ideas come along, and I've had long dry spells. If I get an idea next week, I'll do something. If not, I won't do a damn thing. I never attempt to make money on the stock market. I buy on the assumption that they could close the market the next day and not reopen it for 5 years. I bought a company in the mid-90s called Dexter's Shoe and paid $400 million for it, and it went to zero. And I gave about $400 million worth of Berkshire stock, which is probably now worth $400 billion. But I've made lots of dumb decisions. That's part of the game. Of the billionaires I have known, money just brings out the basic traits in them. If they were jerks before they had money, they are simply jerks with $1 billion. If you get to my age in life and nobody thinks well of you, I don't care how big your bank account is, your life is a disaster. Today, people who hold cash equivalents feel comfortable. They shouldn't. They have opted for a terrible long-term asset, one that pays virtually nothing and is certain to depreciate in value. You have no ability. If you're a financial institution and you're threatened with criminal prosecution, you have no ability to negotiate. I would say the most satisfying thing actually is watching my 3 children each pick up on their own interests and work many more hours per week than most people that have jobs at trying to intelligently give away that money in fields that they particularly care about. Why not invest your assets in the companies you really like? As Mae West said, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. Americans are in a cycle of fear which leads to people not wanting to spend and not wanting to make investments, and that leads to more fear. We'll break out of it. It takes time. I just think that when a country needs more income than we do, we're only taking in 15% of GDP. I mean that when a country needs more income, they should get it from the people that have it. I am quite serious when I say that I do not believe there are, on the whole earth, besides so many intensified bores as in these United States. No man can form an adequate idea of the real meaning of the word without coming here. You know, people talk about this being an uncertain time. You know, all time is uncertain. I mean, it was uncertain back in 2007. We just didn't know it was uncertain. It was uncertain on September 10th, 2001. It was uncertain on October 18th, 1987. You just didn't know it.